What is up, everybody? Welcome back to From the Crypt. And this is going to be another little intermission for democracy. Because I don't know if you guys have seen or not, but Helldivers has been getting some flack.
God, yeah.
For good reason, of course. But it's not going to be the same kind of intermission that Derek and I had the first time we put up an intermission. One, because it's the exact opposite kind of intermission, and two, we have Toby here today to help us with this intermission as well. Hello, Toby.
Hello. They knew I was good at talking shit about Helldivers, so they wanted me on for this one.
Yep.
I knew just the man to call.
Appreciate it.
Our friendly neighborhood shit talker. All right, so first things first, I think that it just needs to go... it goes without saying that we all have enjoyed Helldivers quite a bit. I mean, when it came out, we loved it. As a matter of fact, you should definitely check out our first intermission as well, even though currently does not necessarily apply in the same way. But just to get like an idea of what at least Derek and I's feelings, and I think Toby could probably attest to that as well, what we were feeling when we initially started playing and the overall positivity that came with it. And after each update, which we'll get into in just a minute, it just kept getting worse. And I don't know if necessarily worse is the right word at the beginning of these updates. I think the main part was just like things were getting more hard, at least for me, of course. I'll let you guys talk about your perspective of that in a second. But for me, everything just got harder and harder and harder. And to me, in a video game that has difficulties set up specifically to get harder as you go up in difficulty, the balancing of the guns and the meta and shit like that is not what you should be focusing on. Same with Diablo, because Diablo, you have all the difficulties. That's the point of the difficulty system in Diablo. Same with Helldivers. There's a difficulty system there that you have the same toolkit, the same skill level and so forth at any difficulty, but it makes the shit around you harder. But these updates were coming at us with these like just left field sideways shits that like didn't make any sense. Instead of making the bad guns good, they were making the good guns bad and so forth. And I don't know. Anyway, that's the segue into this whole thing. And if you guys want to say your piece on any of that as well, go ahead. But it's looking rough.
Yeah. So after the first update that completely killed the breaker, and I know some people, it didn't kill it. Yeah, but it wasn't anywhere near as good. That one took a little bit of kind of readjusting and rebounding from. But ultimately, I still felt the game was okay. It does suck that the breaker got shit on super hard. Didn't the railgun get nerfed to hell in that first update too?
Yep.
Yeah. Once again, I remember I didn't even have it unlocked to be able to play with it, like infinite power. This last update that came out, they completely nerfed the railgun into just being like the worst gun in the game. The Senator got a buff, the Adjudicator got a buff, which considering the gun still bounces, like you have to be crouched, but when do you have time to crouch when you're being swarmed? By how many hunters were on us yesterday, Toby?
Like, at least 300.
I wish he was exaggerating, but he is not.
No, I'm being dead-ass serious. Like, we ended that game with probably 300 kills each, and most of it was hunters.
And it was a defend, too, keep in mind. And there was no chargers, one Bile Titan, and legit 300 hunters.
It was super weird because, like, I went in, we had this all planned out at the beginning of the match. You were going to take in stuff for the big enemies, and I was going to go in with crowd control stuff, like flamethrowers and napalm and shit. And I ended up doing most of the fucking work because it was all little shit.
Yeah.
And you didn't have anything to really deal with it.
Yeah, I was doing what I could with the Breaker Incendiary, which is still pretty good. But yeah, dude, it was overwhelming, and like that I had the wrong shit packed for the wrong trip. But yeah, the game there have been a lot more issues I've been having with the games in all these updates. I know one of them is the inputs. I always bitch about that because, I mean, I'm serious. I'm pushing those buttons to switch to a grenade or switch back from a grenade. It's not registering some of the time. Or, actually, a good chunk of the time. Going from prone to standing up, your guy just goes legitimately stupid. And sometimes,
dude, there's days where I won't get up. I'll just be prone for several seconds in a row, and I'm slamming the button, and then I'll softly press it just to make sure I'm not freaking out, and then so forth. And yes, I've tried this on multiple controllers.
That's a known issue, though.
Yeah, and it sucks that it's an issue to even begin with, and then not even. And keep in mind, we're just talking about bugs because we all really do not like playing bots. So we haven't played bots in, a month?
The bots are a whole other fucking argument.
Yeah, no, we're not going to touch that. We're touching on just what we've been experiencing the last couple weeks. But
we'll get to the current events here in a minute as well. But
yeah. Because
we're more just talking about the state of the game right now.
Yeah. No, I would say, Toby, go ahead, run with it.
Yeah, so I know you were kind of implying that we were going to get into you and Derek's opinion of this, Jacob, but I want to be fully transparent before I say any of this. I said something in our group chat last night that I still believe right now. This game, Helldivers 2, is one of, if not the best video game that has released in the better part of 10 years, in my opinion. I love the game. Don't like what they're doing with it. And it goes back to, I'm gonna dig into your memory bank here real quick, Jacob. Do you remember when Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War came out?
Yeah.
And we were playing zombies. It was just D Machine. That was the only map that we had. And the ray gun was ridiculous. It was just fucking obliterating anything. It was by miles the best gun in the game.
As it should be.
And they came out with a patch that nerfed it, not into the ground, but they drastically decreased the damage of that gun. I'm a little bit more active in that community than you are, so I don't know if you realized this at the time, but the community was in an uproar about that update.
I remember. I remember.
The main argument was, why are you balancing guns in a PvE game?
Yeah.
Balancing is more of an issue in a PvP game. If one guy has a gun that's just got a clear advantage over another, and everybody is using that gun because it's just better. It's just, there's no point in using anything else. But in a PvE game, that doesn't matter as much. Because, you're not up against actual players. So obviously you want the better shit. You want to feel powerful. I'm not saying it's not important, but it's not important enough for them to come out with a whole update that's just a bunch of nerfs and buffs to guns when they're not fixing actual technical issues with the game, like the crouching and not being able to get up, or the button inputs in general. I don't see the point of them tweaking the damage of certain guns a little bit to make them better or make them worse or whatever. Why does it matter? If you have a strategy for a certain gun that works for you, just if that's how you like playing the game, I know you don't really like the flamethrower, Jacob. I like the flamethrower. It works for me. It might not work for you, but it works for me.
I do.
So if they
like this flamethrower significantly more than I did after using it last night. I will say that.
Yeah. That's okay. So that's an issue that they should have been fixing. The whole fire damage not working for anybody other than the host.
Yeah.
But think if they had not fixed that, and they had just come out with a buff that's we increased the damage of the flamethrower by 10 points. Why? What's the point of that?
Yeah. I think it goes back to the whole, and I agree. I agree 100%. The fact that it is a PvE game, it shouldn't be as drastic of a change as they have been, and I think I already said it, but it's a matter of making the guns that suck better. Don't take a good thing and shit on it. Just make the ones that aren't very good better. If you can tweak them down, you sure as fuck can tweak them up. Like, I don't understand, and I know I'm not a game developer. I don't know the ins and outs of all of this shit, and I don't know how any of that works, but I'm a consumer of video games, and I have been for the better part of 20 years probably. Like, I have a little bit of an understanding about how balancing works at the very least in video games and so forth, and the broad scale of what it is. Like World of Warcraft, for example, yeah, they have to balance the classes because there are competitions, there are like raid world firsts, there's PvP, there's battlegrounds, all that shit. So yeah, I get it. The classes have to be balanced, but Skyrim, who the shit? No one cares. You're by yourself. So it'd be like them taking the orcish weapons and just making them ridiculously overpowered. And who's gonna give a shit? Nobody. It's just gonna make people only use those weapons and not use anything else. So I think meta in video games in general is just not very good. But dude, I don't know. I just feel like they could have done the opposite, and we would have been in a better state as far as the updates went. You know.
Yeah. Well, and to your point, that'd be like if Valve back in the day would have put out Left 4 Dead 2 and been like, "Oh man, you know what? This zip tie gun is way too freaking powerful. We're gonna nerf it." No, they didn't, because what's the point? It's a PvE game.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I am a big fan, and I have been a big fan for several years of the horde shooter genre specifically, like Call of Duty Zombies, Left 4 Dead, Back 4 Blood, Helldivers, shit like that. I love horde shooters. It's just what it's just what I do, you know? But like, I don't think that genre is the place for a meta. Meta, like a meta gun, a meta build or whatever, is perfectly fine in a game like Warzone or like Destiny or Rainbow Six or whatever, but like, there's no competition in a horde shooter. You're not going up against anybody. You're just here to kill shit and have fun. So like, what, like, why are we putting a meta in this at all? Why do we care?
I also want to bring up the point of I think I can speak for all of us here when I say that I'm not asking for the game to be easy. Okay, I'm not asking for the game to pander to my lack of knowledge and my lack of ability to be good at shooters. Okay, I don't care about all that. Like, I want there to be a challenge. I want there to be a fun challenge, but that's the thing. That's where the difficulty progression comes in. I should be able to jump in fresh, brand new to Helldivers on trivial or medium or something like that. Understand the game, learn the game, not get my shit pushed in on bots or otherwise. It doesn't matter. I should be able to do on either or. Figure out how things work, test a bunch of the guns, see what I like to use, see what kind of stratagems I like the most, and so forth. Keyword, I said ones that I like the most. Not ones that work the best. Ones that I like the most. But
yeah, that's what I love. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I'm just saying that's creating a meta. Is when you're making them so this is the stratagem that works best. No. I want to use the stratagem that I like the most, even if it's not the best, even if it is marginally less effective at certain things. You know, like, I can take the grenade launcher into any match that I want to. I'm going to be satisfied using it because I like lobbing grenades out of a fucking gun into a group of enemies and watching them scatter. That's beautiful to me, you know? Is it the best for every situation? Absolutely not. But I like doing it. But when it comes to the whole chicken walker thing, the walkers and automatons, now they're significantly less effective against those, even though that was a scenario that the grenade launcher kind of excelled in, because I could pop one right into the plate, the front plate of the walker, and it would kill them. But then they got a resistance to explosion damage now, and now I got to get all the way up behind him and shoot the little dude off the back, unless the splash damage ends up killing him. But I don't know. It's the difficulty should be put into the enemies and the varying difficulties in the game. I shouldn't be able to go into a bug match and have a clear defined difficulty throughout the whole thing, you know, the 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 thing that I was talking to you about the other day, when we do automatons because of these updates now, and it feels like I'm going from difficulty 3 to difficulty 7 immediately. It doesn't, the math ain't mathin'.
Well, still, even with bugs too, we've encountered like legit like suicide mission levels of stuff on hard. Like, it's stupid across the board, more so with the automatons. But yeah, sorry, Toby, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, actually, you were building on my point. That's a good segue into what I was about to talk about.
Oh, perfect.
I like a difficulty. I like there to be a challenge in my video games, but I like it to be a consistent challenge. Like, a challenge that I feel like I'm going to use zombies as an example again. Super straightforward. It's round-based, right? Like, you start on round 1, it's easy. There's only like 6 zombies. They die in like 3 shots. It's fine. But every round, they get a little bit harder. And when you get into like the 40s and the 50s, you're fucking struggling.
Yeah.
But you're like, that's when it starts becoming a skill-based thing. Like,
yeah,
you start learning how to run them around, and you start learning when to shoot and when to run, and like it becomes the point where the game is only as hard as your skill level allows it to be. But in Helldiver's case, at the moment, we were on fucking suicide mission. Me and Derek, on that defend mission we were talking about the other day, where it was all hunters. It was literally just hunters and a Bile Titan. Those were the only enemies we fought the whole fucking game. But then you go into you can pop over to a different planet, click on the same fucking mission on the same difficulty, and have 7 Bile Titans running you down.
Yeah, we had that. What was it with the stopping of the Terminid stuff, like the chemical or whatever? There was like 5 things running fucking wild.
As a matter of fact, I think that was in the same cluster of missions. We played one defend mission, and it was all hunters. And then the very next mission we played was one of those where we have to stop the terminals and break the eggs or whatever on the tower. And as we were running to the fucking chopper, we were literally running through the legs of like 6 or 7 Bile Titans that were all coming at us from the extraction point.
Yeah.
That's not consistent. And it's like, I don't know, I guess I like on one hand, I like the variety of it. I like not exactly knowing what I'm getting myself into. But that's a little fucking excessive.
Well, you should also, I 100% like the randomness. I like the randomness and so forth, but there should still be a threshold, you know, like if you're on difficulty 5 or whatever, you should expect a Bile Titan or 2, whatever. And that should be it. You don't know, maybe you don't get any Bile Titans, but there should be like a randomness to it. There should be 1 to 5 Bile Titans on difficulty 5 or some shit, whatever. And then by the time you hit round 9, or difficulty 9, Helldive, you should expect any number from fucking 10 to 20 Bile Titans. I don't know, whatever the case may be. But I have one more story that I want to just mention because it's relevant to this difficulty curve and the way that things work now as opposed to when we started playing earlier in its life cycle. But I do want to get to the current event stuff quick because we're gonna record a different episode as well here in a minute. But I've always been a kind of person that I'm a big RPG guy. Okay, I play World of Warcraft for fuck's sake. Okay, I like to just get in, do my stuff, hang out, chill with some friends, whatever. And if I want to go to a difficult thing, it's a very rare occasion that I'm just like, man, I could use a little bit of a challenge. But I know that in World of Warcraft I can do that to some degree, you know? So games like this where I know I'm not very good, like shooters, for example, or zombies, or or whatever, I am afraid of difficulty. And not like I'm losing sleep over it, but like I have a weird disconnect with difficulty in video games like this, especially ones that I know I'm not very good at the type, to where I won't try something that I know is harder, or that I think is harder based on the title of it. So obviously I know that difficulty Helldive is hard as shit. That's the point, okay? At the beginning of this coming into Helldivers, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to touch that. It's not for me. It's not what I want to do. But me and you, Toby, I don't think Derek was playing that round, and Matt was also playing.
I got one round of Helldive in. I did.
No. This was the very first one that we ever did.
Oh, okay.
This is the very first one that we ever did. We jumped in with Matt. Well, it's the first one I did anyway. I don't know if Toby had jumped into it or not, but me, Toby, Matt, and I think Chris might have been playing with us as well. And Matt was just like, hey, let's do Helldive, and he fucking switched it to Helldive and just full sent into Chaos, and I'm like, fuck, man, I'm not gonna have a good time with this. It was a blast. It was fucking fun. It was insanely fun. I had a great time. Was it difficult? Hell yeah. Did we extract? Hell yeah, we did. But it was just super fun. It was exciting. It was challenging. There was a lot going on. But my point is, I wouldn't have tried it had I not just been forced into it. And now I think with these updates that have been coming out, I'm sitting in that position again where I'm like, yeah, I don't want to touch Helldive. I barely want to touch Suicide Mission, which is the one that you and I and Derek and we're all comfortable on Suicide Mission for the most part.
Yeah.
But now it's getting to the point where I don't even want to do that. I think I'm in my head, I'm like, yeah, I need to go back down to Extreme or some shit like that. But why is that? You know, like, why do I need to feel that way? Because these updates are just like railing us for no reason. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense at all, but
it's because it feels like the developers are not on our side. And, I mean, that's a good segue into the fucking current events, but, like, I'll elaborate on that a little bit. It's like they're trying, it feels to me anyway, like they're trying to make it harder for us. Which is fine, I guess, like, but do it in a consistent way. You don't have to continue to take the guns that people like and nerf them into the ground to the point where you can't even use them. Like, the Quasar Cannon, I'm never touching that fucking thing again. Because they made it unusable. It was situational before. It was perfectly fine the way it was. It was good for what it was. And what it was a weapon you can switch to if you've got a charger coming at you. You got a charger coming at you, you just fucking bop, throw it back on, pull your breaker back out.
But if you
or whatever
miss,
gun you're using.
Good luck.
Yeah.
But now it's like you pull that bitch out, shoot it, and then you're just say you got another charger coming at you. Good luck. You got to wait 3 to 5 business days before the fucking Quasar Cannon's ready to shoot again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with the like unreliable spawn rate of these bigger enemies now, that's a problem. Because I almost never just see one charger anymore. It's always 2 or 3 chargers with like a Bile Titan and a whole pack of hunters coming at me.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's accurate. I guess let's go ahead and dabble our toes into the ongoing controversy because, yeah, just a few days ago, Sony and Arrowhead, or maybe it was just Sony, announced that, like, every person that has the game on Steam has to register it with a PlayStation Network account. Now, for some people, a lot of people I've seen in comment sections are just like, oh, that doesn't bother me, whatever. Yeah, it's fine, but still, how many countries was it that I read? Was it 177 have taken
400.
Like 400? There's
400.
that many countries, period?
I didn't know that many countries.
I think
400 countries that do not have access to PlayStation Network.
And
at
only
least
and only 69 do. Like,
Let me see.
So, yeah, I was gonna say, look up the exact statistics on that because regardless, the whole situation is bullshit. Like, if I'm being honest, because them having to be signed into a PlayStation Network account, if they just do away with that, then this whole situation goes away. Everybody's happy. Well, most people. Some people are already getting returns and stuff. But, yeah, PlayStation Network was only available, I think it was in, like, 69 countries or something like that.
It's not 400. It's
177?
PSN is available in 69 countries around the world. Right now, there are roughly 190 independent countries in the world. So 69 of them can have PSN out of 190.
And the statistics I heard from a previous video said we're going to lose anywhere from 10 to 20% of the player base because of this. Now, I want you guys to think about that in terms of the Galactic War and our major orders and killing, I don't know, 2 billion or 2 trillion bugs in one day or whatever it was.
Yeah,
that's fucking dead. And the people that do have a Steam account that don't want to have to link to a Sony account, I understand their complaint completely. Look back at Sony's history with their data leaks, dude. Like, they're the reason we had to thank the PlayStation Plus games every month, Xbox Games for Gold, because they screwed the fucking pooch so bad and gave everybody's data away. And now they're wanting people that don't want to be associated with that, having to link an account with that. Like, this whole situation is fucked. But Arrowhead, Sony's not perfect. They're fucked. They changed, they did a bunch of stuff. Arrowhead, the CEO came out and said, I think it was on launch day or, shortly that window of launch, either before or slightly after, they turned off the thing that required people to merge their accounts, and they just up and didn't turn it back on. And then the game sold to people in countries where they're not going to be able to play it.
So the situation is, as far as I understand it, is as follows: they had a 6 months advance knowledge on Sony's plan to have the PSN accounts linked. Before launch, they had a 6-month plan that by launch time comes around, they're going to have to link their accounts to PSN. So Arrowhead is not innocent entirely.
They knew
ahead of time. And the reason that they shut it off is because of the congested servers or whatever. Again, I don't know the logistics of it. If you check out Bellular's video, he did kind of a breakdown of how that kind of works and why they did that. And definitely check that out. He knows what he's talking about. But they shut it off so the launch would run smoothly with the intent of turning it back on. However, they didn't do, and this is where the CEO came out and said basically, yeah, we didn't talk about this enough. We didn't ensure that people understood this enough. They didn't understand this because we did not communicate that enough. So he's aware of the situation, but that doesn't take the situation away. It's still a shitty situation. If you would have asked me as a PlayStation player if I knew anything about them having to link a PlayStation account, I wouldn't have known what the hell you were talking about. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. So let alone the people that didn't get it on PSN, the people that got it off Steam, no, they just shouldn't have done that. And if it was going to be a PlayStation exclusive thing, they should have just had that off the rip. But they didn't.
Yeah.
They had it being sold to people that eventually were not going to be able to have PlayStation accounts, knowingly so. And that bothers me a little bit. So it's fucked.
The part of this that bothers me the most is the fact that they lied about it. They came out and said that the reason they're doing this is to protect your security, your account security, and all this shit. When, again, Sony is literally known to have, they're known for their security breaches.
Yes.
So, connecting your account to a Sony account is not doing any favors for you whatsoever in regards to your security. But that thread with the lady, I don't remember what her position was, but she was replying to some people on Reddit or Twitter or some shit. And somebody was like, why are you doing this? And she's like, it allows us to ban people more effectively. And they were like, you couldn't ban people before? And she's like, well, yeah, we could, but now this increases the effectiveness of what we can do. What does that mean?
Couldn't tell you.
Like, you can ban people better? I don't get it.
It means like the complaints and shit are running through, like, everything would be running through Sony at that point. Like, all the tickets and issues and everything that get submitted. It'd be running through them instead of Arrowhead.
Right, but historically, who do you think is better at responding to player complaints? An independent studio or Sony fucking games?
Well, I would normally say independent, but Arrowhead is very, very small, and as we've already outlined, there are all kinds of technical bugs and glitches throughout the game, and then they're feeling the need to do meticulous nerfing of stuff, which is just getting old. But yeah, I would say them over Sony, but just the size of their studio, that taking those things into consideration, I don't know who would. I don't. Really don't.
It's just a matter of like seeing the priority list out of whack, and I don't know who I would pick to answer my fucking tickets or anything either. Honestly, I wouldn't trust Sony to do it. No, but Arrowhead, again, like Derek said, is choosing to balance balance, quote unquote, the weapons and throw that all out of whack and create what they think is a more balanced meta, as opposed to helping our Helldiver get up from prone, stun locked by 100 hunters, even though it's not our fault. We literally are pressing the button and it does not compute.
Yeah.
There's a priority issue here, and it just is really shitty to see. But
I think the bottom line on this whole thing is it's obvious that they're only doing this to increase Sony's sales numbers. And, like, bottom line is, if you're, no matter what situation it is, no matter what company or what game we're talking about or whatever, if you're forcing people into some shit that they don't want to do, they're just not going to play your game.
yeah,
like,
this isn't going to make them any money. They're going to be losing a shit ton of money from this.
Derek, you said that this change is going to just cut out at least 10 to 20% of the player base. That's just the people that can't physically play the game anymore. That's not even including all the people that are just going to stop playing it because they don't want Sony to have their information, or they're boycotting the game because all this shit's fucking stupid. Which, kudos to the fucking Helldivers community. I'm seeing tons of TikToks and Facebook posts and shit being like, I'm not, like, there was one that I shared earlier, a TikTok that said, divided we fall. If we're not helldiving together, we're not helldiving at all, or something like that. And I was like, you know what? That's fucking cool.
Rip.
No diver left behind.
Yeah.
As much as my meme that's up on screen, Jesus Christ, on screen, is calling out Sony, it is, again, another Arrowhead thing as well. And I think just overall they need to figure it out, because they're going to lose a lot of people. And I think I seen one person earlier today that made a video about how I just lost my train of thought, but basically this is not helping anybody. This is not helping anybody involved, and it's even hurting the people that are still going to continue playing. Like Derek said, trying to get those Galactic War things done. Yeah, good luck. Just because there's going to be hardly anybody playing. But they also were saying that this is like the fastest that they have seen a game on a golden pedestal drop so fast this publicly. And that's just a shame, man. That's a shame, because I hate to see it. I like playing Helldivers, and I want to continue playing Helldivers. I really do. But
I'll go ahead and say this as a former, like, diehard Destiny fan, which I was for like 9 years. Yeah, freaking, I swear to God, Bungie was just like, man, how do we piss people off? And then Arrowhead's like, hold my beer. And And this is exactly what happened because literally, like 3 months ago, the game came out. So then that means a couple weeks after it came out, we started playing it. I legit was calling for Game of the Year, and I 1000% meant it.
Oh yeah.
At the state the fucking game was in back in February and March. Now, with all this other bullshit on top of it, I really don't even want to touch the fucking game.
On launch, even when the servers were all packed up and it was hard to get even in the game, I would have still put it up for game of the year.
Yeah.
On
Yeah,
launch.
absolutely.
with the struggles that it had, I still would have been there.
This is just like a new textbook on how to fucking kill a video game. And can they recover from it? Maybe. It's going to be real tricky. I'm not even going to lie about that.
I don't think it's tricky at all. There's a very obvious way that they can bring this back, and I agree with both of you. At the state that it was in, even when we couldn't get into the fucking game for several hours, I would have considered it Game of the Year. In fact, I would have considered it Game of the Year up until about a week ago.
Yeah.
But they can still be Game of the Year. All they've got to do is backpedal on this, and I think when they see, because like I said, the only reason they're doing this at all, it's blatantly obvious that they're just doing this to increase Sony's sales numbers. So when they implement this and they see, oh fuck, we just lost like 12,000 players instantly, cut them off because they can't play the game anymore, and we've got this whole subsection of the community that's boycotting the game because of those people we just cut off access to, we're losing. This is having the exact opposite effect that we wanted it to have. We're losing sales now. So all they have to do is see that and be like, shit, backpedal, and then you're bringing a whole fucking, like, half of your community back to the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
that's all they got to do.
At the same time, for the people, though, that have already returned it on Steam, do you think they're going to go back and rebuy it, or they're just going to say, piss on the game? Fuck the developers. They lied to me. I don't want a fucking Sony account. I want nothing to do with Sony. That's not me, particular. I'm not a fan. Like, I could go on a Sony rant any fucking minute of any day.
From the Crypt episode?
Yeah, because all I'm going to say is if Xbox was handling Helldivers, this shit would not have fucking happened. Would not have happened.
I agree.
You can tell me I'm fucking crazy, Jacob. I don't fucking care. Because Xbox has already been doing this for fucking ever. No issues. And then Sony throws their hat in the ring with this. And then, yeah, it's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, no, I don't have enough. I don't have enough knowledge to back anything up on that, so I'm not going to fight that one. But I think that this definitely left a mark, and it's going to leave a permanent mark that they're not going to get back. But I'm hoping that they can pull themselves out of the water. Maybe even still Game of the Year kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? But we will be getting a update, I think, this week. I seen some people say, maybe it was somebody on Twitter, I can't remember, but somebody was talking about how they should be giving more of an answer on this whole ordeal, a better, more clear answer of what's going on and why they're doing what they're doing, or maybe how they're going to fix what they did and fix all this turmoil and shit that they put themselves into this week. So hopefully that's the case. Hopefully we can see something from it, and yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that that's the case and we can get some clear, defined justice from all of this, because it's pretty shitty and I hate to see it. So
all I'm going to say is if that clear defined justice isn't, hey, we boofed it, we're fucking undoing that,
yeah,
then it's not justice.
No, I agree. I'm hoping that we get some kind of solid answer to something. And you know what? I'll be honest with you. I'm hoping that even if that solid answer is them fucking up, because then at least that will be enough reason for me to just be like, all right, fuck you, I'm not playing your game then, and I'll uninstall it right now. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I don't care what the answer is. I just don't like the uncertainty. And even if it's a clear cut, we fucked up, but we're not going to do anything about it, sorry, then I'll uninstall a game right now. I don't give a shit. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's a game, dude. I've got plenty more games out there. There's plenty of more games that we can play and get into and have a good time on. And it's a shame that this had to happen this way. But again, I'm hoping that's not the case. I'm hoping that we do get a better answer than that. But we'll see. We'll see. And hopefully it's...
Helldiver's greatest strength from day one was the strength of its community and the impact that the community as a whole can have. So, if we can liberate Malevelon Creek, we did it. We fucking did it. We did that. Me, you, we did that. If we can do that, we just got to speak with our wallets. Stand against Sony.
Yep.
No Helldiver left behind.
Liberate regular Earth. Liberate regular Earth.
I want to speak to Sony with an eat that I just deployed. All right.
Up,
Anyway.
right, down, down, down.
Yeah.
Calling your stratagems, boys. Let's get this fucking regular Earth liberated as fast as possible. But
I agree. I if they're not going to fix this for the people that physically can't play the game anymore, I'm not going to play it either.
Yeah. Agreed.
Pretty pissed. So anyway, that'll be it for this episode. Unless you guys have any closing statements, we are going to jump into another recording, which we'll have up for you lovely people on Friday. So thank you all for watching. I appreciate you. Thanks, Toby, for joining us for this one, of course, and the next one, which we are going to be having you on as well. But yeah, make sure you're liking and subscribing and all that good stuff. Let us know down in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on this whole shenanigans, and also let us know down in the comments below what stratagem and what orbital and what whatever kind of weapon you're going to use against this tyranny that Sony's been putting out in the comments below. And we'll see you next time. Peace.